Ever wonder how the internet really works? Not the big abstract ideas, but the actual nuts and bolts. Well, today we're going to figure it out by building our very own tiny working version of it right on your computer. So let's get our hands dirty.
Okay, so let's start with this kind of wild thought. What if your computer wasn't just for looking at websites? What if it could actually be a website itself? A destination that other people could come and visit.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to build a tiny replica of the internet. We'll turn your computer into a mini web server and see exactly how all the pieces click together.
All right, first up, we need to build our digital home. And just like any house, it needs a solid foundation and, an address so people can find it. For us, that means firing up the server software on your machine and then setting up the special folder where our website is actually going to live.
The foundation is actually way simpler than you might think. Now, these steps here are for Mac OS, mainly because it's got this powerful web server called Apache already baked right in. To switch it on, you just open up the terminal and type sudo apache control start. That first word, sudo, it's basically you telling the computer, hey, I'm in charge, let me make this change. Once Apache's up and running, we just need to find its main folder, the web root, create a new folder inside for our site, maybe call it example, and then just drop our web page file right in there.
Yeah, that command, apache start, can feel a little technical. But I love this way of thinking about it. It's like you're just turning on a light. A second ago, your files were just sitting there on your hard drive, kind of in the dark. But that one command, it just shines a spotlight on them, making them visible to anyone who knows where to look. Pretty cool, right?
And what about that web root folder? Well, just think of it as your website's front porch. It's the only spot that's open to the public, the place where visitors can come hang out. So naturally, that's exactly where we're going to put everything we want them to see.
Okay, so our digital house is built, the lights are on. Now for the really fun part, opening the doors and letting people in. And guess who the very first visitor is going to be? That's right, it's you.
This is that first wow moment. Just open up any web browser you like, and in the address bar, type http://localhost/example. The second you hit enter, bam! You should be looking at your very own web page being served up by your very own computer. But what on earth is localhost?
So what is this localhost thing? Well, it's basically a universal nickname that every single computer uses to talk about itself. It's what's called a loopback address. It just points right back to the machine you're using. It's your computer's way of saying, hey, that's me.
So yeah, you can forget all the technical jargon for a second. Whenever you see localhost or its number, 127.0.0.1, it's just a shortcut. It just means me right here on this computer. Simple as that.
Visiting your own site is cool, for sure, but the whole point of the internet is connecting with other people, right? So to let others in, you'll need your computer's actual address on the local network. That's its IP address. You can usually find this pretty easily in your network settings on a Mac or a PC. Just share that number with someone on the same Wi-Fi and they can visit your news site too.
So you've made this work on a really small scale, maybe just in your room or a classroom. But here's the big reveal, the main takeaway. This little experiment you just did, it's not just some party trick. It's literally a perfect miniature blueprint of how the entire, massive, World Wide Web actually works.
And this chart really lays it all out. Look at this. Our Mac running that Apache software, that's playing the exact same role as a giant professional web server. Your local IP address, it's basically acting like a website's unique domain name. And your web browser is, well, it's the same browser everyone else uses. A classmate visiting your site is just a tiny version of millions of people visiting Google or any other site. You've literally just recreated the entire system.
But okay, let's be real for a second. There's obviously a huge difference in scale and, well, reliability. What we've built is an amazing demonstration, but it's really important to understand how this temporary setup is different from a real, live, 24/7 global service.
So on one side, you've got our classroom server. It's temporary, it only works when your computer's on, and you're the one with your finger on the on-off switch. But on the other side, you have a global service, something like NeoCities. They're using super powerful, dedicated servers that are always on. They handle all the complicated IP address stuff, and they make sure that websites stay online 24/7 for anyone in the world. So our model is the blueprint, theirs is the skyscraper built from it. And of course, just like we turn the lights on, it's good practice to turn them off when we're done. The command sudo apache-ctl stop does exactly that. It shuts down the server, your website goes offline, and your machine goes back to being just a regular old computer. And that's really all there is to it. You haven't just learned some theory about how the internet works, you've actually built it. You've held the blueprint in your hands. So the only real question left is, now that you know how it's done, what are you going to build?